Have you ever thought about just not returning photos? I'm sure like all of us have thought about at some point creating as a photographer and just never return some of those backlogged photos. Most of the time, it is a very bad practice to not return photos, maybe even illegal. But there are a few exceptions. Today, I'm going to talk about what are the 5 exceptions when it is perfectly acceptable to not return photos. Hello everyone, my name is Wong, and I am a photographer and a videographer. Now, personally, I return photos every single time I shoot. So that's why I am very selective about doing my photo shoot. Last thing I want to do is to waste someone's time or leave someone hanging and they're just waiting every single day watching their inbox, hopefully for those photos to come in. And more so, if it was a paid shoot, then I'm obligated to return photos that I promised. Or else, that would be a really bad business practice. Then people are gonna find out, and then I'm gonna run into trouble finding new clients. Or worse, my clients can sue me for not fulfilling my part of the deal. So, I'm gonna talk about when it is okay to be responsibly not to return photos. Number 1, you didn't get paid. That's kind of obvious, If your client didn't pay you, you don't have to give them anything. Not a damn thing. Of course, you want to make sure that your client really has no intention of paying. Like they really decide to not do it, like they told you in the email, or this is quick, they go bankrupt or something before going to this nuclear option. After all, you have wasted time shooting with them. So even if you don't return photos, you kind of lost, you wasted your time. And most of the time, it's not even worth it to go after them legally. It could be expensive, it could be time consuming, it's just a giant headache. So think about it before you do that. If your client explains that they're having financial difficulty, you can work out a payment plan, maybe even reduce the amount of photos that you're trying to give to them, at least so then you'll get paid, at least a little bit, better than nothing. And maybe the clients will remember that and hire you again when they're more financially secure. Or, if a company person hire you and that company will pay you, that person might go to a different company, but then they will pay you instead because remember, you're a good business person. But another thing that I have a tip for you is that consider getting a deposit. Side note, this is also why you might want to consider getting a deposit before your shoot. A very common practice for high-paying shoots, things even like weddings, is very common. Now, what if it wasn't a paid shoot? Let's talk about number 2, experimental shoot. There are times that you might want to try out different shoot ideas, different concept, or you want to try out some new gear, different style, like all kind of stuff. Since you're trying out new things, your final result might not be what you hope for. And it might not be worth it for you to edit those photos. And it might even hurt you. It hurt your brand if you, have those photos shared out there publicly. If that is the case, with knowing that in mind as a possibility, you should be super clear with your model ahead of time that you're shooting with them and you might not able to return photos, so they won't be surprised if they're not getting anything back, but they need to be perfectly clear that could be a possibility. In fact, it would be better if you have friends that can be your test subject instead for those situations. You're gonna say, oh Martin, I don't have any friends, what should I do? Well, then you can try out number 3, public event. There are a lot of public events out there that are photographer friendly, like a city parade or a festival or even a protest, but things like a cosplay convention, all kinds of stuff. Those things, there are rules that what you should do and what you shouldn't do as a photographer and how to photograph. But the majority of time, you can take photos, especially in America at those events, and you don't really have to return photos that you capture. It might even be difficult to do so without interrupting the event. So, those are something you can try it out. Number 4, free products. If you're a professional photographer, or you're a content creator, or if you just even have a social media account, it'll be very likely in today's world where a company will reach out to you and let you know that, hey, we want to send you some free products for promotion. Now, unless you specifically agree to them that you are going to post something or give them the photos, you are not obligated to actually do any photos. You don't have to take photos of them, you don't have to take videos, you don't even have to post them. However, here's also a reverse tip. If there's some free products that you really want to get for free, you can always ask company if they're interested in trading for photos. Sometimes they might even, pay you for those photos. Here's the last one. Number 5, second shooter. If you are a second shooter for a job, you don't have to give the clients any photos. Actually, you shouldn't, because in this case, your client is actually your primary photographer, not the subject in the photos. This happens quite often in wedding photography, where the guests will get super excited about a photo that you took because you showed them like, wow, I look great. And they're gonna instantly ask you, oh, can you email me that photos? Just email me directly, here's my email address. Not only you don't have to do that, you shouldn't do that at all. That's because it is the job of the primary photographer who got hired to deliver those photos. And there could be multiple reasons why you shouldn't give those photos directly to the subject in the photos, because the photographer might have a set amount of photos that they should be delivering, or they have a specific style that they like, or they want to edit their photos in a way that they want. So the main photographer will want to use the photos and keep them in a package. Your job as a second shooter is to give those photos to the primary photographer, and that's it. The last thing you want is someone asking you for more and more photos after you send them one, and that's really common in wedding. Then you're gonna just open a whole Pandora's box with them, and they're gonna keep bugging you for more, and then your primary photographer might even get mad at you or even sue you for giving out photos that you shouldn't be doing. All right, that's it. So those are the 5 exceptions where you shouldn't return photos. And just like English grammar, there are lots of exceptions to those exceptions. So don't use this as a hard written rules, and hopefully the scenarios that I have listed out for you can give you a better idea on when do those exceptions apply and when do they, it's not the case. And that's it. That's it for me today. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. And tell me what you want me to talk about in the next videos, if there's any tips and tricks, anything at all. Until then, I'm out. Peace.